Hi, I'm Shona Garner. I'm a 65-year-old yoga teacher who's building her own thriving yoga business, but I also find I want to help other yoga teachers to build theirs too. There's a limit to how many people I can teach, and I don't want to teach everybody anyway, so I want to help other yoga teachers to build their own tribes. And this video is for you if you're either a yoga teacher who wants to begin to start launching your own classes, maybe you already teach for a studio and a gym, but you want to start on your own, or maybe you've tried starting classes on your own, but been bitterly disappointed with the results that you got. It could be that maybe you were making this mistake that this video is all about. So here's 3 tips to help you to launch your classes in a way that means that you attract plenty of people to them, you keep those people coming, and they go on and they tell other people about you too. So you keep having this constant flow of new students coming to your classes. So here's tip number 1. The biggest mistake that I see people make is that they try to say that they're selling or promoting Hatha yoga or Ashtanga yoga. So tip number 1, your students don't really come to you for yoga. In fact, the truth is, they don't really care what style you teach. They're coming for other reasons. When you think about it, cast your mind back. Cast your mind back to when you started yoga and the classes that you went to. Maybe the first class you went to, maybe you loved it straight away. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you went and thought, this isn't for me. This is what yoga is. I don't think I really want to know. But then you found another teacher and boom, you were hooked. People don't come to your classes for yoga. They're coming for other things. And when you think about when you enjoyed the classes, what was it you were getting out of them? What was it that what was it you were looking for? What did you hope to achieve? And how did those, most importantly, how did those yoga classes make you feel? And that's what you're really trying to get to the heart of. Yes, you can start to talk about, if a student asks you, what is your style? Then answer them. But if they don't, if most of my students want to know whether what I teach is actually going to be suitable for them. Am I going to fit in? Is this going to give me what I really want? And here's what my students want. I teach yoga over 45. That's my business. I'm no spring chicken. I'm 65 myself. I'm not cut out, nor do I even want to teach Ashtanga to 20-somethings. It's not me. I don't enjoy it. And when I set this up, I wanted to do it because it was for me as much as it was for my students. And the bottom line is that shows. It shows in the classes that you teach, and they enjoy it even more. And that's what I think makes my students come back to me. So here's the thing. I want you to start thinking about, why did you start yoga? What is the yoga that you love doing, that you love teaching, and what is it that it gives you? Because the likelihood is that the students that you're best going to attract are the people who feel the same way as you do, who answer those questions the same way that you do. So ask yourself what you want out of your yoga, and then ask your potential students, what is it they're looking for? What is it they really want to achieve? Tip number 2. Don't claim that you can teach anyone. I built a coaching business before I started my yoga business. And one of the things that I learned on the marketing trainings that I went on, and I went on a lot of stuff to help me with the marketing, but one of the things that I learned was, if you try to appeal to everyone, you'll appeal to no one. Coming back to me as an example, I teach yoga over 45. The average age of my students is 60 plus. Some of them are in their 70s or 80s. And it would be foolish of me to try and entice a 20-something or have a 20-something who makes an inquiry about my yoga come to my class without making it perfectly clear what to expect when they get there. And I have had people who've rung me up and said, I'm under 45, but do you think this might be suitable for me? In which case, then there's a conversation to be had. Maybe they have some illness or or injury that means that they're looking for something that's a little bit gentler. Maybe they're hard of hearing and they want to be able to come to a class that's a bit slower paced and they know that they're going to be able to hear the teacher. There's all sorts of reasons why people might want to come or enjoy my classes as opposed to a vigorous hot yoga flow or an Ashtanga class or even a yin class. There are all sorts of reasons why my students come, and that's my way of vetting them. And the bottom line is, if they're not right for me, I pass them on to someone who I think locally will be a good fit for them. And that's a much better service than them coming to me and ending up feeling that yoga isn't right for them. So don't claim that you can teach anyone or anything. And actually, if you've ever tried to teach a class with a 20-something and an 80-something in it, with people who've got experience in yoga and no experience in yoga, you'll know how hard that is anyway. It's just not worth it. And the other really interesting thing about this is, once you hone down exactly who your market is, exactly what it is that they're looking for when they come to a yoga class, it's so much easier to write the copy for your website. You end up teaching what and who you love the most, and your students know that they've found, it's almost like they're coming home. They found the right fit and they want to come back, and they tell everybody else about you too. So think about, how can you niche it down? How can you narrow it down to who it is and what it is that you really want to teach the most? And finally, tip number 3. Don't be afraid of thinking that the more specific you get, the less chance you have of filling your classes, because it's exactly the other way around. I used to think that too. I know exactly where you're at if that's what's going through your head. It's so easy to think, oh, if I turn this person away, I'm going to lose out on business. No, you won't. You'll actually increase business, because all of a sudden you become a magnet. You become a magnet for the right kind of people to seek you out and find you and keep coming. Okay? All I can tell you is, the more specific you get, the fuller your classes will get. So if this sounds like something that's of interest to you, you'll find loads more resources at the website, of which the details are below. Please do have a look, and feel free to join our Facebook Yoginiors community, where there's loads of other yoga teachers talking about all sorts of different topics about how to help to build your own thriving yoga business and develop your yoga career.